Welcome to the Eskimo experience. Battery level 120%, firing mode, Frosty.
Right, it's Dr. James checking in for the Eskicouch. I've got brother Jamie here with me. I've got brother Timmy checking in. We are here. We are live, Facebook and YouTube. How are we, boys?
Yeah, good, man. Nice to have the boss man with us.
Yeah. Thought I'd better jump in.
The retired guy.
Make sure people know who I am every now and then. Just remind people.
I keep
hey, I'm a person too.
I keep putting comments up with retired in inverted commas.
Retired.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, I am retired.
What's going on, Will?
How are you,
Hey,
Will?
Will?
Thanks for checking in, mate. You are retired. It is official.
Until the next
whether
time.
it's long lasting or not, it's a different story. But
The amount of times I've heard that to me, it's ridiculous.
Oh, dude, you're going to hear it forever. And
Yeah,
Jones, you'll cop it when he eventually pulls
Yeah.
a pin. I'll cop it when I pull the pin. It'll be the same for everyone.
The fun of
Yep.
the Jordan. There's always a comeback to it.
just go with Jordan then. Go with Jordan.
Yeah.
So
Jordan, that's
Johnny
right.
Farner.
Go and play baseball for a while and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
Something a bit different.
We do have a guest coming in. He has said he's just jumping in, so we are just waiting for him to do that. But let's while we do wait on that, Kaiser was meant to be coming in, so he's stood us up. Feel like a girl
He's
at
lost.
prom.
He's still lost in North Queensland.
He's probably recovering from those celebratory beverages. I think might be the problem. So, and he
There's
was
every
having
chance.
he was having a few of those yesterday too, wasn't he? So,
Not like Kai not to enjoy a win.
Definitely, it'd be rude not to for him. So yeah, I just had a little beep in my ear, so I'm going to drop myself down to 1. And hopefully I got the one with the microphone. You've got me still?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're still good.
Yeah, beautiful. We have had our guest drop in, so I'm going to bounce him in now. You're in, Ryan. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. I finally got on board.
Yeah, you did. You got noise. You're quicker at that than Timmy was this afternoon. So
It happens on occasion.
All good. So thanks for jumping in and being our guest on the Eskicouch, mate. It's pretty exciting times for you guys. Exciting times for us to have you on here. But the reason we did get you in was to have a conversation about you boys coming up to Super Sevens and playing some paintball in Sydney, mate. So
yeah, exciting times for round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're really looking forward to it. We were meant to be we're pushing for last year, and unfortunately with the whole COVID thing, it kind of screwed us and a few other guys around. So fingers crossed, we've got 2 more months, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I guess talk us through that thought process for you boys to make that decision to come up. I mean, the Havoc boys come up and played semi-pro, and they come away with the win, didn't they? Off memory.
Nah, so I filled in for him for the semi-pro 2 years ago.
Our boys won semi-pro, Jonesy. You should know that.
They must have come second or something, didn't they?
Yeah,
Should
thanks
remember.
It was a long time ago.
Kyle's team, Bettler's team won that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was last round. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I jumped in for Havoc for that year and made the grand final with Havoc, and obviously that was a pretty good experience. Obviously, first time playing Super Sevens, and I just remember walking away from that, and the atmosphere was just unbelievable. And I thought we definitely want to experience this, and I wanted to, obviously, being captain of my own Allied Assassins team, that was where we wanted to go, was to get the team back to that event again. And I felt that's where we're going to really push ourselves with some of the world's best players and Australia's best teams. So
yeah, and it is a different atmosphere, isn't it? Like you can play tournaments around Australia, but nothing really compares to it, does it?
No, it definitely, like I said, it was my first time, and I still look back at that moment, and what an awesome weekend. I couldn't fault it. We had some rain and some puddles of mud here and there, and just the whole feel for the weekend and mingling with the pros, and obviously Timmy and SDK boys was awesome after doing a training session over in WA. So it was just a really good time. And like I said, I came back to the boys and said, look, once we get to a stage where we're challenging NXL Victoria Div 1, where we had started 2019, I said to the boys there, once we start challenging those teams up there, well, then that's the next step we want to take, is to make the move to Super Sevens. And obviously Pro, I felt, was the biggest challenge that we could face, where I think we'd get the most out of it. So that's how we sort of come to that conclusion.
Yeah, nice. Will's saying you guys are going to make your mark. We've heard it here first from Will. So he's calling it early. It is, it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see. You guys, you picked up. I'm going to drop it. I don't know if anyone else knows, but you picked up Simo's going to play with you, who made his debut on the pro field last year with 404.
Yeah.
And did really well for his first pro tournament, and I've been a huge supporter of Simo's. I think he's got a big future. I tell everyone that. So you've done well to grab him. I believe you're only going to have him for one round unless 404 don't come back.
Yeah, we'll just play that by ear, I guess, as the rounds go on for the rest of the year. But it was important for us, obviously. A lot of the guys, including myself, we haven't played pro before. The best level, some of us have played a semi-pro. I think we've got Dave Shorter should be playing as well. So just a couple of players who had just a little bit of taste of it, just to help us sort of get into the right mindset from their level, was really important for us for round one. So, and we look forward to the challenge, obviously, for round one. But, I'll make sure to the guys, whatever comp that we play, the biggest thing is for us is just to be super competitive, and the rest will take care of itself. But as long as we work hard and really push ourselves, on and off the field, I'm looking forward to seeing, how we go. But like I said, round one, no huge expectations. It's more so for us to go, look, this is what we need to be at, to be challenging, some of these great teams. So that's the main thing for us.
And look, the boys out of Wagga, Dwayne, as we know, has kind of had quite a good program happening there and developed a number of good players. And I would by far put Dave and Simo in the top couple that have come out of that whole system there. And there's been a lot of players and a lot of good players. I got a lot of time for the Wagga boys, as you guys know. I'm big fans of the Asylum boys and everything they do. So David Shoulders really early on impressed me, and Simo's just gone leaps and bounds in the last 3 years since I've watched him develop. It's he's really committed, and I think they're massive pickups for you, and probably guys that are still flying under the radar. But I reckon after a round or two, if Simo didn't already do that last year, they will be known and known very well. So well done in picking up those two.
After he split his chin apart in his first game.
Yeah, not so great, that one. You gave him the commentator's curse, mate. That's why.
Oh, well and truly. It's only because, like, same as you, I think the kid's got a big future.
Yeah.
Like once he gets time on that field, and I was talking to him before you guys actually picked him up, and I was like, mate, just jump on a team, mate. Like Mo was looking for people. I said to him, just play with Mo. Just so you get time on that field, more time. It's the best thing you can do. And then at one stage he was going to play semi-pro with our boys, and he said, look, I've been offered this by the Adelaide Assassins. I said, you're crazy, mate. Do it. Jump on it. He goes, what about your boys? I said, fucking don't worry about it. So I'll sort it out. Just get the time.
I think they've only got 100 Eskimos to choose from to recruit. Couldn't be hard.
But that's massive for you guys. So it's really good. I'm excited for you guys to be coming up. It's going to be really good. It's just a shame, that the teams are down a little bit. That's the only shame, that is only a 2-day event for you. for round one. So, because, the 3-day event, I think really that tests everything in the team. Like, you can put it together on 1 day, okay. You can put it together on 2 days, okay. 3 days, you've got to have a lot of things go your way to really get it together. Like there's a lot of variables there, a lot of different weather conditions. Paint management's huge over 3 days to get everything right. So, but yeah, it's still going to be good.
And that number of games over 3 days, how many times have we seen on that third day, the Crisis boys did it 2 or 3 times in 2019, where the end of day 2 they were sitting 5th or 6th, and then next thing you know they're scraping into 4th, and then finals, and then pulling out the win for the event,
walking away with the medal. Yeah,
it can make a big difference, those extra couple of games at the on that last day. So
and there were times we cleaned up Friday and then missed out on finals by on ED
by Crisis overtaking us.
By Crisis.
A couple of times. Or Raw. I think it might have been Raw once too. Raw, but we won't talk about the boys who did that. But
and Dwayne has made the comment that he's looking real skinny for event 1, and it is. So by my thoughts, we've got SWAT, Eskimo Brothers, Marauders, we've got Adelaide Assassins, Raw
Mungers
will be there.
Mungers were on the list too, weren't they?
Yeah, and Mungers, they're number 6. And then if Mo can get together his couple of players, that'll give us 7 teams, which will still be okay. If we can get there. But even 6 teams is still okay. 2-day event is still they're still long games. Like, people lose sight of that. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
this
like
is
a 5-minute.
This is a big thing. Like, we experienced this when we played in Europe. Like, you might play less games, but it's not going to be any easier. You'll you'd be surprised how much extra you'll put into those short amount of games, because they are also cutthroat. Just to get yourselves through. The big thing for everyone, and it's why it's great to see the Adelaide Assassins jumping in, is there's not usually many opportunities to be able to jump into that Pro Division in Super 7. So while these sorts of opportunities are around, if you're in any sort of position to do it, take a leaf out of these boys' books to grab the opportunity, get in there. The best thing is, Ryan's here, you guys coming in the right headspace of going, right, we're going into this first round to find our feet. We'll find our feet, and then we'll worry about the rest to follow that. Like, the winning will follow.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And we've told the story before earlier on in this. That's exactly how the Eskimos ended up. We were AMS with TPC. We stepped up to semi-pro, and then the semi-pro division folded because there just weren't enough teams. And Mike said, "Well, come and jump up into pro and get your asses handed to you," and we did, and we did. We got our asses handed, but we brushed ourselves off and got our asses handed to us again and again and again, and then Timmy joined us, and the whole world changed. So,
well, just me, man. But Rolling Stone don't
take the compliment, Timmy. No.
I'll take the compliment. We didn't win straight away, but goddamn, we didn't.
We didn't. But I remember the first event we played as Eskimo Brothers, mate. I was happy to take a point, and we copped some beatings, but we got one of those points, and it was just like, okay, there's a bit of light there. We can hold our own here. We can get a point. Let's just get another point.
Hopefully, Adelaide Assassins will be welcomed a little bit more than we were, because everyone just wanted to hand it to us when we turned up. They're like, "Oh, these arseholes stepping up. Like, they don't deserve this spot. Let's give it to them." And they did, and we bled. I'm sure the Adelaide Assassins will be welcomed a lot more, open arms, mate. I have no doubt, Ryan. I'll be very keen to see you and happy to see you there.
I think Mike would be overexcited about some South Australian representation again, on a reasonable scale as well.
Yeah, 100%. And
it's always hard to.
I think that's what's good. Like the people are making that journey up. I'm really all for it. I think it's good. Like as you said before, you experience the atmosphere. It's electric there. It's not just like a normal event. It's it's almost like a party that's just with some pretty sick paintball being played. So from some of the best in Australia, which is cool. So
we
exciting.
I actually spoke to Mike last night actually, and so we're going to look at entering a semi-pro team as well. So
That's sweet.
Well
so
done.
we're
Really well
able to scrape enough numbers for 2 teams, which is going to be awesome because we've got a lot of guys who have played 1 or 2 tournaments, and I thought my experience in semi-pro was other tournaments I've played in, you have quite a bit of a skill level difference where you rock into certain tournaments and you have like the top 3 teams will dominate, and then you have a couple of bottom teams which that you're going to pretty much blitz them every time. And going with Havoc to set us semi-pro for the first time, it was like every game that we played was just a war. It didn't matter who you played in semi-pro. It was just constant. You had to be on your toes. You had to be doing everything right. So I spoke to the boys and I said, look, you've got a couple of games of tournament experience, and they're going to be in the same situation as us. Like I said, we're going to go over, we're going to give pro a good crack. And for us, it's about learning and developing, really pushing. And the good thing about us is that we've got a lot of guys who are super competitive. They don't like to lose. They're hungry to win. So the more that we cop it, the more that we want to, fire back anyway. And that's what we're trying to instill with these new guys coming through who've only played just a couple of tournaments. And I think semi-pro will be a good stepping base for them moving forward, especially for our local league as well. So, I guess from our side as well, like not only is it just about our team, representing Adelaide, South Australia, but it's also the fact that although that we've got the numbers over the last couple of years have really been steady for us. We've been very fortunate in that regard. Besides that, it's actually been really hard because since COVID started, really we've had a lot of loss of interest in the sport, and I guess a loss of interest in a lot of things, and trying to build that back up again from what it almost feels like from ground zero. We lack facilities, we lack a lot of things here in South Australia. So there's no new teams coming through. Havoc, I think it was after 2019, that was pretty much it for Havoc. I haven't seen them since. So and they were South Australia's strongest team when we first started, and we had a really good rivalry, and then it's just gone. So it's really down to us and Jokers, and I don't think Jokers are traveling too much for a little while. So we're trying to find ways to try to, rebrand the sport, try to get some enthusiasm back into it. And for us, if we could play pro, get on the live stream, get the sport out there a bit more. We are desperate to try to build this sport in SA mainly because, like I said, with 2 teams, we've got 3 teams. So like we're propping up our local league with 3 teams that we just feed heaps of numbers, a bit like the Eskimo brothers, but we want to see more teams. I want to see other teams coming up and challenging us, local, and supporting the Jokers, because, at the end of the day, if you don't have the teams, you don't have a comp. And this is, we're in a pretty critical situation right now where we need more teams, and there's no fighting around that. We've got to be dead serious in the fact that we need to promote the sport. We need to get it out there and start building it very quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree. I think obviously the numbers, that we are going to see it's 7s for round 1 is kind of that effect of the COVID hangover, and hopefully that doesn't last too long at all. We do want to see a lot more people getting into the game. Sounds like there's a lot of brand new players coming into the game. I think a few have left, but from all reports, Jonesy, is that what Mike's saying? He's selling a lot of guns and a lot of new players and a lot of bush ballers and.
Yeah, there's a lot of new faces out at action, and it's good. Like it's great to see, but it's the people that were always there, like COVID's taken a hit, and people have just gone, I'm gonna retire. So
nothing wrong with people retiring, all right?
So, and that's there has been that effect. I think after round 1. People will see paintball. People will remember what it was like, and there'll be people that said, "Oh, I'm not playing," and then they'll see the live stream and they're like, "Oh, I really missed that." And now,
well, that's why I'm coming down for round 1 to go into the booth because I'm not sitting at home because I'll be just sitting there the whole weekend going, "Why didn't I go down?
I remember years ago.
I'm coming down. I've already told Mike I'm coming down to sit in the booth. So,
I gave up years ago. and just threw the towel. I said, fuck this, I've had enough of paintball. And then I watched the next event and I was like, sent Jamie a message and go, I'm never missing another one.
But that also has its own fair point. Like there is going to be a bit of a hangover, like whether people have moved. Like we know there's been a lot of player base that have moved away from the big cities. They're trying to find their feet as to somewhere else to start playing. Like I know there's been a few questions pop up on the Australian paintball discussions about, hey, I'm in this place, where can I go? And that might be brand new players, but that might be people that have played years ago that are looking for what's in their local area. And we're going to see it. It will turn around. And you're right, Jonesy. It'll take the first couple of events. Yeah. This year will be probably, I think, more about gathering steam than jumping straight to the front. And then I know, like a couple of people have said it in the comments about new players are what keep the sport going. But the big thing about what Troy said about how to grow the sport is not just the new players coming in, but we need to retain some of the older guys.
Yeah.
And it's we all know life comes in the way of this sport. It's an expense, both of monetary and time. So real life with kids, families, houses, all the rest will have an impact for some people.
Yep.
So for those that have stepped away and are thinking about stepping away, take your break if you need it. But yeah, you'll be surprised when that fire relights and you'll be back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will come back. I agree. I think, there's a couple of us that have announced our retirement. Someone's mentioned, Will's mentioned Macca as well. And it was a shame to see Macca retiring this year. And I'm not sure if he'll be back because he's a, broken man, being repaired at the moment. So physically broken. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people that have stepped away from the game, not necessarily retired, but just stepped away. But
just
those
other
guys,
priorities too.
Yeah, and which is understandable. Jesus, we've all got lives. So
and that's,
yeah,
Dwayne makes that point that he's found it easy to get people, but it's hard to keep them. And that's I remember years ago I had a conversation with Dwayne when I was in Coffs Harbour, and Coffs Harbour has one of the best surfaces in Australia. Like it is Mickey Mouse, it's mint. And I was having a conversation with him, and he goes, "Why don't more people play paintball in Coffs Harbour?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you got the best surface, but you've also got beaches. You've got awesome fishing. You've got all that sort of stuff. Great 4-wheel drive tracks. And that's what they compete against. They have that. Well, there's all this other stuff to do as well. So it is one of those things that you've got competing interests from everyone that people have to, try and get over as well. So that's one thing.
Well, there is the argument being made, and it will, the proof will be in the pudding. But a lot of people are saying that, sports like paintball may actually get a resurgence after COVID because people are sick of sitting in their house and sick of playing computer games and want to get out and get active and have a healthier lifestyle and that type of thing. So, fingers crossed we do head that way, and the sport may actually get a real push of new players coming in, and hopefully the existing players in and us retired fellas will help those new players along.
Yes. Someone brought up the age thing, like a Gaddy brought it up, the 12, like we've got 12 in New South Wales. What's the age down there in South Australia?
I'm pretty sure it's actually 10. I'm pretty sure it got dropped down to 10, I'm pretty sure, from memory.
Yeah, it's been 10 in South Australia for forever.
Yeah, true.
Well, at least it used to be anyway.
Yeah, wow.
That's pretty cool. So,
yeah. It's the same with us at 12 over here. Like 12 over here, set in stone thing. It's generally 12 was picked out for over here just because of the size of kids.
Yeah.
And whether they would actually want to get shot by something. But then that's where splatball's been a huge thing. Like the little 50 cal things have gone gangbusters. Parents feel so much better about it. So I'm really keen to see what impact that has in years to come. So the longer that's around, like all these kids are coming to play these parties and shooting little 50 cal splat balls at each other. But I know Brad's seen the older ones already come back and start playing some paintball just at a punter level.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have an interesting flow-on effect just in terms of people's attitudes towards the sport or just paintball in general, which will have a flow into the sport, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is licensing over in South Australia easy, or is it a nightmare down there?
Look, I think it could be a lot better. I think a lot of people aren't aware. You know, I got a lot of guys who talk about paintball with me at work, and I don't have my firearms license, and I think a lot of people have got this attitude like it's just too hard. And you know, we've got a pretty good process for our team, because obviously we've got 20 plus guys on the roster, and not everyone can get a firearms license. So we've got a pretty good system to help players get in where they don't have to get the license straight away. They can sort of ease into it. But it's frustrating because I see what's happened in New South Wales with the permit system, and we went through a bit what Timmy was saying with the splats. We had the Jebel Blasters, and that went gangbusters for us in 2019. That's where a lot of our players came from, where a lot of young guys running around with the Jebel Blaster. You don't have the sort of commitment to paintball, but then you see the paintball, and then certain people will see that and go, well, that's a step up. I want to go straight into that. So it made it easy for us to get guys to start in Jebel and filter the way up to paintball. But then obviously the laws changed, and they classified those toy Jebel Blasters as full firearms. And it's really that really destroyed the sport. There's a small resurgence now at the moment, but again, it's just a really hard process where it should never have gone to that. I think the permit system would have been a much better and fairer way, especially for our sport, because most of our guys in our team, we don't have real firearms. We did the license to get the bloody paintball gun and play the sport, but we've got to sit there and we've got to learn about hunting and this and that. We've got no intentions of doing it. So I think that permit system would be great if we could get that nationalised. That would be the big thing. But I guess the hard thing is trying to get it to that stage. So
I guess that's a state-by-state process.
Yeah, well, how they're doing it now, like with the safety course being through TAFE, I guess that's one step closer. And that might, over time it might be obviously it's working in New South Wales and it's pretty good, and maybe it'll work out that way. So, but yeah, I was actually pretty chuffed. I got to do the safety video for that, just to put it out there. You guys won't see it because you've all got your license, but if you do your license in New South Wales, Timmy or Ryan, you'll be able to look at my mug on there telling you all about a paintball gun. So
I did happen to see a few little previews of that before it came out.
It is a crazy contradiction, which we know with governments. That's what it's all about. But the fact that you can start playing at 10, in South Australia, but you've got to then get a firearms license. It just seems crazy that they're all right with 10-year-olds playing, but no, but you can't own your own gun, without a firearms license. It's
it is crazy.
Governments, eh?
Yeah. Very cool. All right, well, we are going to go to something real quick. We replayed Paul's Who's That Eskimo last week, and I caught up with him at the field. He was pretty chuffed that he got a replay. So we are going to throw this one out there just real quick. So we'll play this one, and the four of us will be back in a minute.
Who's that
Eskimo? Esteban.
Esteban here from the Eskimo Brothers. What team do you play on?
Rubber Ducky.
Rubber Ducky. So he played Rubber Ducky today at the Wagga 3-man. Plays in what division in sevens?
Division Arms.
Arms. And what side of the field do you play? Doritos or the snake side?
Mostly snake corner.
Snake corner. And you played in there today. I played in front of you today. Had a bit of fun, which was good. One of their players went down, so I had to fill in for the boys, and it was a bit of fun. Favourite opposition? Who do you love shooting in the face?
Paul.
Paul. He's on your team, man.
Yeah, I want to shoot him.
Or back of the head.
Yeah.
And what?
He's gonna be next
opposite team, yeah.
He's gonna be opposite team this year.
What gun do you shoot?
170R.
And what's your biggest tip for someone starting out?
I'll try to learn and always come to the field and train with professional players. Is better because they're always gonna help you out and stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, good. All right. Well, thanks for having a couple of seconds with us, brother, and thanks for your day, man. I enjoyed playing with you boys.
Righto, so that was a throwback to a Wagga 3-man. I think it might have been last year. So anyway, we just relive a couple of those. We'll do some more this weekend when I'm out at the field training, which will be a bit of fun. Dwayne was just saying that Vic are looking closely at the New South Wales system, reviewing how it's gone over the last couple of years. So that's exciting for Vic. It's getting one state closer, so maybe Maybe South Australia will be next after that one.
Work its way around.
Yeah,
We're going clockwise, people.
It's going the long way.
Well, we'd expect to be the last over here with a good old wait a while.
Well,
I know
the
it
Lords
was
won't be able
discussed.
to make it through the border, will they?
Oh, maybe
right.
one day.
That hard border.
The paperwork sitting at the border waiting to come across.
Yeah, pretty much. It's only got to go through a week's quarantine now. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, I know it was rumored to be getting looked at by WA a few years back, but there was a change in the staffing in firearms, so it really went back on the back burner.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it kind of proves it's not just the politicians and the government in charge, or even the police. There's also like your civil servants that are involved in these departments as well. So hopefully, as each state looks at it and hopefully jump on board with it, you'll probably see them look at across the border and go, whether it's us, South Australia, Queensland, whatever, we'll sit there and go, well, that's a smarter way of doing this.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any big influx of crime related to paintball or whatever else. And yeah, hopefully we do follow.
Yeah.
And look, I think New South Wales has done all right. I haven't heard of any major issues in the 2-year period. There was the fear of, those markers being in the hands of juvenile delinquents running around the streets and shooting people and shooting up shops, but I haven't heard of anything.
I haven't either.
Dwayne's just had a fair point as well about firearms in New South Wales and couldn't wait to get rid of paintball out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I know the original, at least the staff that I used to deal with firearms here in WA when I was still working for WASP, they were in the same boat. They didn't want anything to do with it. They were frustrated by the fact that they had to deal with it. So,
and they're massively understaffed in New South Wales. So, a thing to come off, they've got enough worry with just normal firearms. And all the farmers getting their stuff. They're months, if not years, behind in their paperwork. So, I can imagine.
Very cool. Very cool.
Carly's, yes, I will be at Sevens, Carly. So, yes, track me down for sure.
You'll be easy to find. You'll
be easy to find.
One hand and the microphone in the other, up in the
and a shirt that's got "I'm retired" written on
it. That's not what I told Connor to put on the back of your jersey. Very cool. So NXL this week, there was another player move. I didn't put a graphic up. I was gonna, but I was running late. I had fun trying to put a baby to sleep. My beautiful wife is up there still trying to put a baby to sleep. So we'll just go and I'll look at it on my phone and we'll have the conversation. New York Extreme picked up George McLean, who was with Thunder. So I can honestly say George McLean's never rung in my ear while I've been watching paintball. But New York Extreme have added one, so that's pretty cool. One thing on the NXL, one thing I found interesting that I sort of read, Iconic was, I put it out. It was out a little while ago, but I hadn't read, and I just sort of caught up with a few things. The boys on Outlaws, TMG, didn't know that their spot was being gone. So they've obviously, they've finished the tournament. They've gone, woohoo, yeah, boys, we didn't get relegated. We're back for another year. And team owner's gone, well, actually, sorry, boys, no, you're not. I took the cash and your spot's gone, boys. Yeah. So I thought that's a bit rough for those guys. So they're going to play semi-pro and try and win
semi-pro, yeah.
Which
is kind of cool that there was. But it's kind of cool that they themselves went, okay, we're getting Jeremy's done with it. Like Jeremy Simon had been a part of paintball for forever, and he's still a part of it, but just over funding and paying for a team. And by all accounts, he actually made that decision early in the year.
Yeah.
So that was again through, I know Jonesy, you and I were talking about this last week with HK's podcast. A lot of these sorts of details came out that, they basically were looking to do this from round one of the NXL last year.
Yeah,
and they'd already teed it up with Jeremy, but obviously they didn't know what was going to happen. But it's kind of cool to see that the rest of the Outlaw boys, not all of them, but the majority of them have gone, right, well, we still want to be pro players, so they're going to fight and earn their way back in, which is really kind of cool under a new name. So
yeah, it is cool.
I think
good
that's
on
to be
those
respected.
guys. Yeah, good on those guys for saying, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. We did it before. Let's have a crack.
Yeah.
So that's cool. AC Dallas, obviously back to semi-pro as well. Changing their name, playing as PB Fit. So AC Dallas won't be there at all. It'll just be PB Fit. So that's pretty cool too. And those guys say they're committed to win their spot back as well. So.
And from all reports, that program is pretty successful, isn't it? The PB Fit program. I've been following them on Facebook.
Their whole field is pretty insane.
They've got a really good junior development squad, you know, young fellas, and they put in the hard yards through the different divisions.
It was just rough for those guys. Like a couple of years ago, they were knocking on getting, you know.
The name was. The guys that were left on the team weren't those guys, and I don't mean
the team the team they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They were going on Sundays regularly. They went deep a few times, but you know, once again, players got pulled out. Team got tore apart. They rebuilt as best they could with what they had around.
Outside looking in on that one, it kind of looked like some of their guys kind of got frustrated with the constant, because they had a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds. So I think they started just getting frustrated. So started looking elsewhere for winning opportunities. And if opportunities came along, like Matt Jackson to Impact and things like that, like the guys were going to go and chase, because they obviously got so close so often that I think they just didn't have enough to stay the course with it. Whether that was down to internal things within the team, which I know the AC program originally came up under Greg Pauly, whereas PB Fit is the field they played at, which is the Lack House. So whether there's, I don't think there's been a split there as far as I know, but maybe it's not running directly under Pauly anymore. That could be one of the big influences. You see a lot of the Dallas boys move to Diesel.
Yeah.
So AC Diesel is not the same either, but they were a good substitution for it there. So they're still in there and they'll still be fighting. So
yeah.
And Dwayne's 100% right there.
Yeah, Dwayne.
The original squad.
Yeah.
But the other big one, again, surprise, Latin Saints have got someone else, is they got J-Rab as well.
Yeah.
So that's another impact. That's another impact player. So that's impact down 4 out of this.
Yeah.
A-Rod, Mouse, Speaker.
Yeah.
And now, and actually one of the interesting ones that did hear tell, and that was again through HK podcast. So Mouse gave up 10 grand of his own salary to put towards Speaker coming to jumping over.
So instead of him getting 100K, he's at 90. Speaker's got a nice little bit of cream.
He'd be about the same from what rumor has it. So
and that brings me to that. Like you do those sums. Now they're paying 90 for Mouse, 90 for Speaker. What do they pay for J-Rap?
He'd be easily around the same.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Average them all out at 90.
Yeah, just call it that. Just say 90 grand. So he's dropped 300 and, 60 grand.
Yeah.
You know,
just on 4 players.
It's pretty hectic. So I think you underpaid me, Jamie. So.
I don't remember signing any checks for anyone.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm 90 grand. But
when I was going out to buying drinks at half time, mate, I was handing the hat around. There wasn't even free drinks, mate. So.
It's funny.
These pockets do not run deep.
Shout out to Connor for my Eskimo Brothers t-shirt.
Let's say I see 3 Connor shirts in the feed tonight. I'm sorry, I'm the odd one out.
And you've got some. You've even got one of these. What are you doing, brother?
It's a bit small for me. It's actually I don't have one of those ones.
Didn't get the text message from Jonesy.
No, I don't have one of those ones.
Yeah,
wear the shirt, mate. I got it just before I come on.
I've got Connor's jersey from last year though.
Oh yes, straight out of Belly's bag. The belly of Belly's
thankfully, straight out of Belly's mum's washing machine.
At least you know it was done properly then, don't you?
Well, I was going to throw a jersey on, but I didn't want to get Jonesy excited. that I was coming back. So
Mate, I would have been pissed up.
I just figured
Seeing
the
that.
shirt was enough. I
would have been
put the background
all
up
over
just to tease him a bit. So,
Troy's just said, what are our thoughts on Impact this year? I think picking up Axel, you know,
Axel got in is probably the smartest move they made.
Yeah.
That is, anyone that's seen him play, whether it be via webcast, in person, I've had the opportunity to play against him once or twice, and he's freaking insane. Like, he is so underrated. Like, what that short little shit can do for a team is amazing. So that is a fantastic pickup by Impact.
I think
but who are they going to put around him?
Well, that's the point. Like, but he's looked good with a team around him that hasn't been that great. So him on the field, still, you know, you got Cornell there. Put Cornell behind him.
That's the thing. You've still got both Cornells. You got Brandon.
Justin.
Justin. Thank you. First name escaped me. You've got the Canadian boys apparently coming back in as a thing. You still got Nick Laval. You still got Matt Jackson. You've got the two Revo boys that have just jumped over with Super, and who's the other one that jumped in? But yeah, Impact will be strong, man. Like that, and in fact, this will be the old story of like there'll be a fire under them. It's like all these guys that have gone to the Saints will have fire under them to prove that they're worth the dollars they're getting paid. Impact will have it to prove that they're not those players that they lost, even though, Jesus Christ, that's a huge chunk of the top end of paintball talent gone. But what's left at Impact is still scary.
It's still a solid team.
Oh, cool. It's beyond a solid team.
And no pressure as well. You know, the pressure has massively dropped on Impact. People will be writing them off, and it's a much better place than the Latin Saints are going to be in, because everyone's going to be the pressure on the Saints to perform because of the dollars dropped, massive. You know, there's, you know, they're going to be severely criticised if they're not, you know, playing finals every time. So I'm sure they will be with the team they're putting together. But yeah, I think Impact could fly under the radar a little bit and you know, still go all right.
It's going to be good to see.
I don't know if it was the J-Rab announcement, but I did see him and putting up a few things about, from what he'd heard, the Saints aren't done yet. There's one more to go. Whether that happens or not, who knows?
Someone was flirting around with a Russian coming over, or was that just bullshit?
No, so I think they got the offer after Marcelo and Tyler knocked theirs back. But as far as I know, the Heat Russians are staying. I know Malloy was also on the cards. He's also played with Diego before. But the rumor has it the Russians are back to full Russian strength. So
it's a scary strength, we all know.
And that's the thing. So Pro Division, we said it last week, the top end of that Pro Division is going to be ridiculous. Not that it already wasn't, but
it's those top four teams are always going to. It's always.
I don't think it's just top four. I think it's literally top 12.
I was going to say, who are the top four? I think depending on who you ask, mate, it's a bit debatable, isn't it?
I know the Iron Man.
We do that in our chats. We say it every time, and there's always six to seven teams make that top four list across five of us. So
the Iron Men are actually the big enigma in all of this. I know. Nick's Sloviak's playing captain now. What they do to fill their gaps that they've lost and to be on the mend, nothing's been heard. So again, they could go through a full rebuild. That could be really interesting to watch. But
Nick's a good guy to do that. I think he'd be great up the top there.
No one expected him to have that win in 2020. It helped. It wasn't just Nick. You had A-Rod there, plus then you had everyone else put in big. So wait and see who they may or may not pick up, or what team they field.
Will's saying they're going to pick up Bear, so
Is it?
I like your better pick of a shoe there, Will.
Bottom, I can't put it in.
I'm a big Bear fan, so I know I'm severely outvoted around.
You
here.
like
know
his
what?
mount.
I figured out
I'm
why you
still a
like
big Bear fan.
I still
figured out
think
why you love him
I
so
still
much.
think the better player would be the shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I do like his mouth. There's no doubt about it. I just think he's a good bloke and he stirs for the sake of stirring and I actually like that. He stirs for the sake of paintball. So I got a lot of time for him. And he knows he's a jerk, you know, and he loves it. So, you know, I got a lot of time.
The only reason you like him is because he gave you a headband.
He did give me a headband.
You got a free headband when he came out and played
so.
for the Eskimos.
He did. He came out and played for the Eskimos, and we had an absolute ball with him too. You know, you did. We had an absolute ball when he came out, and I'll always have a lot of time for the big fella. So,
yeah, very much so. Next time you're on Facebook,
I'd have him out to play again anytime, and I always said that to him. Except we always had Chad
on your team that you retired from.
Kind of like Chad a little bit better is probably my only problem. Not only by this much though, but I like him probably a little, you know, by the height difference. Yeah,
you know, so.
Not much height difference.
It's a little bit more than that.
Short asses.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Jamie, any tips for Ryan and the boys coming up to play pro? What's your biggest tip for them?
Look, probably when you play the Eskimos, Jones is a pretty easy shot off the break. So don't waste more than one gun pointed at him. That one gun will get him. The rest of the boys you probably have to worry about.
Yeah.
No, mate. Look, the big thing, and I think you said it before, that all your boys are pumped up to come and win, and they're very competitive. As long as they're coming with the attitude that if they get their asses handed to them, I'm not saying you will, but if you do get your ass handed to you, don't go back with your head down, kicking stones and shit like that. Chances are you probably will, and I don't mean that in any disrespect whatsoever. That's just the nature of the game and how fast pro is once you get there at 15 balls a second and all that sort of stuff. But just like us, I have no doubt, mate, within an event or two, look, you could come out and blow everyone away. But if you don't, please don't take it. And make sure the boys are ready to get that hit if they need it, because it's quite okay if they get that hit, is probably what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep. Your tip, mate.
Jamie just said the best thing about it. And it's, come in realistic about it. Go hungry. Like, come in hungry. Go for your wins and all the rest of the stuff, but just be sponges. It's the same when you came in for that clinic, man. It's like, you're a perfect example of someone that was there to listen and learn and to carry it on. We've seen you do that for the last couple of years. Your whole team has done that. So go on with the same thing. Don't drop your heads. You will have your ass handed to you by at least one team at that event. But that's not something to be discouraged about. That should be something that hopefully builds hunger for you guys. As Will said earlier in the comments, it's hard to come from a small player base. Like you guys have got the same similar situation we got over here. It's hard to be the top guys with that and to keep that fire going. Doing things like this and traveling will be it. The start for you guys is Super Sevens. Where it goes from there is up to you guys over the years. But go in, expect to get beat up, hand the beatings out when you can. If it happens to go better than that, fantastic.
Celebrate those points. You know, you get a couple of points and celebrate the hell out of them, and then you'll get a few more, and then you'll get a game, and next thing you know, you might be, podium and winning events in not too long.
And when you're standing at the gates of that first point and you're standing there with your boys, look at each other, chill the fuck out. It's just 5 blokes with guns at the other end.
And have some fun.
Have some fun.
We always had fun, mate. Even that first event when we got our asses handed to us, we were still dicking around in the pits, having a laugh. Went out that night,
wiping blood off our neck.
Wiping blood, off each other, but that was always the Eskimo way, and we see great teams capitulate in the pits because they're just being jerks to each other and blaming each other. Just go and have fun.
Mate, in fairness, when you guys come up here, you will see it. You will see the pit explosions and the egos. And if you can leave all that shit in the car park, you'll have a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned.
Yeah. Yeah. All good. All right. What do we got? Okay. Hot tip from young Will. Just get Johnny talking and he'll draw all the penalties. So,
Bloody Johnny.
Dwayne's got between Dave, Hampus, and Simo, even Cal, you guys won't get embarrassed. So
I noticed he didn't mention you there, Ryan. I'd be taking offence at Dwayne for that one. Could at least put Ryan's name
He's
there.
you guys.
You've got to bring the belt with you when you come up, mate. Right? You have to walk in. You have to walk into the event with that fucking championship belt on. Okay.
I'm gonna have to clean it first. It's getting a bit dusty. I've been waiting to take it back out to the field for the next Thunderdome, but just sitting there getting dusty. Actually,
have you got it there?
It's that picture in the background.
I almost forgot about this.
Yeah, how good's that? You need to wear that into the pits day one, mate. Just strut in there like in that 7th pit.
Nothing says I've got a big swing and dip like a championship belt. So.
Just walk in above your head, just going, I have arrived, bitches, you know.
Here's my target.
Yeah.
Just walk out in game one and just throw it out on the pitch in front of the other team and just go, take it from me, bitches.
Come get some.
I prefer my name not being mentioned. I like the cruise under the radar, a bit like the Thunderdome. Just cruise under the radar and do my thing. It gives me a bit more drive. So I like it like that.
Quite achiever. Good to see.
Yeah.
That's it. That's very cool. Very cool. Forgot all about it. All right, Ryan, thanks for coming on, man. We really, really appreciate you giving us some time, which is much appreciated, mate. For those tuning in, thank you for taking the time to watch us live. If you're listening to this on Spotify or you're watching a replay, much love. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to check it out. We will be back next week. We're going to go through the captains of the pro teams. That'll give us a bit of time. So next week we'll have another one who will be on. Should I drop it or should we leave it as a surprise for next week?
Drop it. We'll let people
drop
know.
it. So Marauders captain, Brad will be. Is it Brad? I've had a shocker.
Yeah, Bradley Brandle.
Yeah, he's going to be dropping in next week. Newly bumped up to the captain of the team. So that's pretty exciting too. And then the week after that, Blackie from SWAT's going to jump in and join us as well. All right. And then we'll just keep ticking them off as we go, which will be pretty cool. Thanks for being the first cab off the rank. And I thought we should do your first, seeing as you're going to be the newest pro team at Super Sevens for round 1 in 2022, mate. Look forward to catching up with you when you get here. And I'll gladly make you a coffee with the worst coffee machine in Australia. All right.
I'm looking forward to that.
And that's only because it's the only one there. So, but I can make coffee out of mud, can't I, Jamie?
You can. It goes all right, actually. Make sure you got some almond milk for me, though. I'll be there too.
Oh, yep. I'll have the nut juice, mate. I'll make it myself.
My favourite.
Yeah. Very good. Jamie, thanks for jumping in, mate. I appreciate your time. Much love,
Great
mate.
to be here.
Good to see your smiling face in an Eskimo shirt too, mate. So
Eskimo shirt.
Only one step away from a jersey.
That's right.
Timmy, as always, thank you, my man. We'll see you all next week. Thank you very much, everyone.
Call ring off.
Thanks, guys.